and welcome to this edition of the Angels of Destiny show. Why is this show called this, you may ask? So I'll tell you. The accepted meaning of angel is messenger, and the accepted meaning of destiny is to make firm establish. So my guests and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. And also, I like working with angels and the calmness they bring. Now, in a moment, I will introduce you to my wonderful guest, Debbie Anne Turnbull. But before that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching the show live at a later date, as it really does mean a lot to me to connect with like minded women. Now, if you've never met me before, then my name is Rae, and I'm a transformational coach and trainer who will assist you to heal your past, create your future, and transform your present so that you can take charge of your destiny in the here and now. I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy, and I use angelic Reiki, future life progression, past life regression, guided meditation, and angel oracle cards to assist you if you feel lost, to get clear on your reason for being here. And I've also created several transformational packages, a journey through lifetimes, as well as a 6-week guided meditation series to help you gain the confidence to take charge of your destiny. Now, each episode of the show covers various themes of your journey, a mini guided meditation, or an angel oracle card reading with the wisdom of my wonderful guests, like today's guest, Debbie Anne Turnbull, about From Lost to Legacy. Now, Debbie created River and Sea Sense Ltd, RASS, which was set up due to the drowning of Debbie Anne's 15-year-old son Christopher on the 14th of August 2006 at Capal Curig North Wales. And I do apologise for any Welsh people out there. Now, over the past 15 years, RASS has educated over 500,000 young people as to the dangers of open water and won numerous awards. And in teaching open water safety, they make a huge difference in enabling young people and families to enjoy outdoor swimming in a safe way. Now, this is Debbie Ann's story of how she lost her son and went through mental, physical, and financial struggles to create a legacy project that is now national, and her journey from being a mother to speaking in schools to training police forces from across the UK, and various other appearances. So, without further delay, hello, Debbie Anne, and welcome to the Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. I've just explained I've been playing with my little puppy dog who is very quiet right now. So fingers crossed he'll stay that way.
Yep, but if not, he'll have to join in the show. So, before we get into this fascinating conversation, I want to remind you that not only can you share this video, but you can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts live or at the replay, as both Debbie Ann and I want to be part of this conversation. So, please don't be shy. So, Debbie Ann, why don't you tell us more about your journey, your story, and how we can go from lost to legacy?
Okay, yeah, I'm not going to start actually where I lost Chris. I'm going to start where I actually had him as a baby. And my story is that I married a lovely guy from the army, and we went on honeymoon to the Gambia, and it was somewhere that he'd never been to. Basically, he said, I haven't been there. That's the place we need to go. So off we went on our honeymoon, and boy, was I in for a shock. It was going back, oh my goodness, 30 plus years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
And trust me, it was nothing like it is now. We got off the aeroplane, it was like 38 degrees, and it hit me so hard. And the hotel was stunning. It was like being on a cruise ship. So they did all the food in pictures, but things like the ice in your drinks, well, that was, I think that's what made me poorly. So from that, I got what's called banjo belly. I don't need to describe that really, do I?
Wow.
No.
I think we know.
So, yeah. So, cutting a long story short, was passing out by the pool, still drinking my vodkas. I
Of
was on my
course.
honeymoon, wonderful time, big shock, big culture shock, but I really enjoyed learning as well. Um, but yeah, I came home still poorly, and I was still poorly about 5 weeks later, and I could not work it out. And I always suffered from poorly tummy anyway. And the doctor said, well, we better do a scan. And he said, could you be pregnant by any chance? I said, absolutely not. Just no way. Because my husband was still in the army and he was on doing a big assignment at that time. And sure enough, go to the doctors, get the scan, and oh yes, there's a heartbeat. What heartbeat? And I said, what are you doing down there? My heart's up here. You know, you're probably around 6 weeks pregnant, dear. Well, I nearly fell off the blooming table. Don't make me swear. Honestly, I was so shocked. I was so shocked. And I was told, I'm telling you this because sadly, I was told when I was younger that I'd had so much surgery that I most probably would not be able to bear a child.
Wow.
So to find out that I was quite scary as well because of my own health and whether I could carry the child. So yeah, I went through an awful lot of things with that. Anyway, I did bear the child, and I gave birth to him, and he was beautiful. He was just perfect. I was counting his fingers and his toes because I was looking for something that might be wrong, you know, but no, he was beautiful and perfect and special. But sadly, when I gave birth, I had an injection, epidural injection, that went completely wrong. So it went to my brain. So for 10 days, I was in a darkened room being looked after because of a very scary situation that I was in. And in that time, I just felt something really strange that I thought I was dying. And then I just felt like I came out of it and I was being given a second chance, but I couldn't understand it. Hence, I was really poorly, really poorly for weeks afterwards. And it did damage me personally, internally. However, my friend came to see him 3 days later, and I looked at her and I said, he's not here for long. He's not here for long. And I thought he would have, I sensed that he would probably not be here after his 12th birthday, so you can imagine what that was like. He must have had 50, 60 lives because he was an absolute adventurer. And he learnt to swim at 3 years old in a swimming pool in Tenerife. His armband didn't work, and he flopped into the pool and swam for his life, or grass, you know. And we taught him to swim while we were on holiday, and he never stopped. He swam and swam and swam, and then he played rugby, and he was a big, strong young man. Really strong young man. And if there's anyone that's spiritual, this picture behind me is actually where Chris died. And I savour this picture because it is a beautiful place, and it's not a bad place to me. This is what the legacy is all about, if that makes sense. And maybe you can see or feel, I don't know, you tell me. However, yeah, he did outdoor pursuits, he canoed, he did everything to do with outdoor. So if there was any way that would have taken him, that was the last thing. And that summer, we went to live in a pub for 5 years in the Conway Valley. And throughout that time, we had visitors of cadet groups and scout groups and squaddies, and they all came to stay, and they all partied like crazy with us. It was an amazing time, but of course they took upon Chris as their little mascot. So from being 8 years old, he was going out doing all this kit. He was just having a blast. And I'm glad. I'm really glad, because he died happy, didn't he? You know? And this particular day, we left the pub. We went to live in North Wales, and it had rained really heavily that weekend. And Chris had been going all summer, swimming, having a wonderful time, not doing any harm to anyone. And this particular day, husband came home at 4:10, and the news had just gone out on the radio in the car. And he came in and he said, where's Chris? I said, he's at Capal Curig. Funnily enough, that day, because I was working from home, and I worked in the health and beauty industry then, and 2 helicopters came above my house, and I just got that cold, cold sweat shiver, and I thought nothing of it, gone, gone. And immediately, when John asked me where Christopher was, that shiver came back, and he looked at me and he said, he's dead. Chris is dead. I said, yeah, okay. And then I was ringing the police. The knock was on the door, and 2 police were there to say a boy had been lost. And it was just like, I knew it wasn't. It was a shock. It was horrific. But I just, all the way through, it was just like I knew. And it was devastating. It was devastating to the point of me not wanting to live anymore. But 2 weeks after we lost Chris, and we started to plan the funeral, I could feel this kind of energy inside me that I couldn't understand it. Honestly, I could not understand it. I was racked with grief. I was in pieces and falling apart, but there was something that was bubbling underneath, and I just couldn't work it out. So we had the funeral, and I was really, really close to all his friends. There were over 300 people there at the funeral, and they were queuing up outside. He was so popular and loved. I'm mad as a box of frogs, like his mum, really. Anyway, that happened. I went back into the school, and his mates were coming to the house to see me, and we were just in an amazing bond. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And they asked me to go into school because they were chanting. And as it got towards Christmas, they were singing the Walking in a Winter Wonderland. And they were singing, there's only one Chris Turnbull, there was only one Chris Turnbull, dancing along, singing his song, Walking in a Winter Wonderland.
Oh, beautiful.
And we decided that rather than hysteria, which the school couldn't cope with, and these guys were broken. Some of them were coming home from school holidays, and they were flying home because they heard what had happened. They were getting planes home. And we decided to do something positive. So we went right to the top of Corwin Bay, as high as we could get, and we walked right down to Roe-on-Sea. And I asked the girls to dress up as boys, and they asked the boys to dress up as girls. And it was mega fancy dress, and they really worked it. And we raised a lot of money, and we bought a water raft for the mountain rescue so that they could make more rescues on the river. And we did quite a bit more than that too, shall I say. And that day, as we walked down, we could see the seas we were walking down. The biggest vibrating rainbow appeared, and that was the first one. That was the first one. Now I can sit here and look out of the window. I don't need to see a rainbow. I feel them.
Yeah.
We got the second one like that on the day of the inquest, which was in December. And I came out the inquest, and we decided to drive along the seafront home. Sure enough, we stopped the car. We got out of the car, and there it was, the same. It was it was really pulsating. And then, I am very spiritual, and I can tell people things. I'm not a medium. That scares me. Woo woo, but woo woo. Yeah, look at all my books. And I studied. I know, but I studied in quantum physics. There's so much more in this world than this. Wow. There's so much more, so much more. Anyway, one day, John and I went to Capal Curig to place some flowers there, and again, even I was sort of putting some flowers there, and John said, "Debbie, look at this." And we looked, and it's there behind, and there was like a massive, it must have been 60 feet high, and it was like a shaft of, like another rainbow, but a big shaft. And to me, it felt like an angel or some other. It was, my husband noticed it first, and then another time we went, and we went there, and a rainbow was in front of us in the car all the way there. It was jumping over all the bushes all the way there, and then below me, I nearly swore then, it came all the way back as well. Every little tree, every little, all the way home. I swear on my life. And songs were playing that were relevant to him, that were his mate's best. So that was what started all this, and all, even more spirituality than I've ever felt in my life before. And then I started to get more requests to speak in schools, and that happened. And I've always been a giver. I like to give, so maybe for 10 years I never earned hardly any money. I lost money. I put money into it. We both did, my husband and I, and it was so hard, but still I knew that I was getting those messages out there, and I was starting to do a really good job, because I ended up on TV, radio, in the press. When sadly a fatality happened, I was contacted by, and I used to help families. I supported 23 families at one stage, and I saved 2 people from committing suicide, as well as myself. And so it's from loss to legacy. It's believing that this is what I'm here to do, and he's with me. He's here, and he's hugging me, and he's spurring me on when some days I feel so bad, so awful, so crappy, that I don't want to get up, because I've now got autoimmune issues, and I'm waiting for an up on my throat and things like that. So, but I'm not giving up, and I will fight, and I will continue to do that. And so then I ended up with an office, and I did more and more and more and more. And then I started winning awards, and 2 of the best awards that I did win, one of them was the National Lottery Special Achievement Award, which they said I'd been nominated, and they said, oh, well, actually, it was a big vote online. Well, I didn't have that massive online presence that a lot of people do. So that was okay. It was great just to be nominated, really, to be truthful. But they kept coming back to me and saying, Debbie, will you just do this newspaper story? Will you just do this? Will you just go film here? Such a body interview. Yeah, okay, no. And I was just thinking, well, it is just part of the course. And then they then came to me and said, well, actually, Debbie, you've not won, but we'd love you to come to the event. Okay, no problem. So then they rang me again the week after. We'll do, everything's paid for. You'll enjoy it, you'll have a nice time. Okay. So we took our friends, and we were looked after so well. It was beautiful. But they said before we went, oh, can you just fit a quick interview in? Now, it's a film we want to make about, because we really like what you've done. However, it might not be shown. And I was like, look, if I'm doing a film, will you please show it? It could save someone's life. That's all I was thinking about. Nothing else. Nothing at all. Anyway, they got me to this hotel, and they were pacing up and down. I kept saying, would you like another cup of coffee, Debbie? No. And it was like, no, 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 nothing else, you know. And then this great big car appeared and the lady stepped out. Oh, thank God they're going like this. What the hell's going on? I looked out of the window and there was an Arctic truck in the car park full of film kit, and they took it out in the garden of the hotel. Lamp, lights, camera, everything, all wires, everything. And Sam Womack got out of the car from EastEnders.
Oh,
He
wow.
came to interview me. So we just did this interview. I was just like this, talking, and that was it. So I got there, and I hadn't won the education section, but the other person came and she said, "Oh, well, what are you doing here?" I said, "I don't know. They just said they can come." So I just, I'm here to enjoy it. Oh, she said,
Exactly.
"You'll be sat at the back then, won't you?" And I said, "Yeah, probably will, but I'm just grateful to be here." However, when you go in, when we walked in, they said, "No, you must not move under any circumstances. You must, once you're in your seat, that is it. You cannot move." So I was on the table with the CEO of Camelot, two world class Olympic medalists, and us, and the editor of Woman and Home magazine, of which I've
Wow.
just done a story for. And we were right in front of the stage, like literally walking on distance. You know, this other lady was like way away, miles away. Anyway, so we sat there and we were looking around thinking, what the hell's going on? And they just gave us drinks, they looked after us. And then me being me, the lady who was from Woman and Home, there was a chair next to me and then she was sat right. I said, "Oh, come and sit with me. Come on and sit with me, you know, no problem." And "Oh no, I can't." She asked, "Of course you can." So I got a name thing and I put it next to me because I didn't want to leave her on her own. She
Yeah.
said, "No, Debbie, I can't." Anyway, she knew that she better have or else I wouldn't let go. So she did. Next thing, I'm watching the awards and crying for everyone else. Like she's on her hands and knees walking behind me. Where's she going? What's she doing? Next thing, a lady, a very well-known lady from this morning came and sat next to me. She said, "Hi, I'm a seat filler." And that was that. So what's going on? I was like, "No." And then it was beautiful. The award show was wonderful, and I was really honoured to just be there, literally. And then all that ended, and then Uri Aduba just said, he said that it's been an amazing show. There's some amazing people. He said, but we've not all their stories, have we? And all the cameras switched over onto me, and he was walking towards me. I was thinking, no way. And he went, "There's some amazing people whose stories just like you, Deb." Oh, I thought, well, I can't tell you what I said. And he sat next to me and he told me that, he said, "Just tell me you like Bear Grylls." I do, I do, sort of thing. And wow. And Bear got me up on stage and gave me the award. And then from that, I ended up going to Parliament with the lottery. I was like an ambassador for them for a year. So we did an event in Parliament. From that, I ended up speaking in Parliament 3 times. I then got the Points of Light Award from the then Prime Minister Theresa May, and I continued doing what I was doing. Lockdown almost crucified me because it was like 2 years with no going into school. So I really had to think, and I'm a 63-year-old woman who's not IT or online. I'm not that person really, but I've had to be. I've just absolutely flipping had to be. So I flipped it all on its side, and I now have a families course just about almost ready to launch, that parents can do a families course and teach their children everything that I do in schools. So when I do a school, either whether it be online, I've made that work now, or in person, but I can go anywhere because I can do it online. And then what we can do is we can refer the young people, and we can refer the information to families so anyone can do the course anywhere. And this is what I've created since. And then now, only 2 days ago, we've had a massive PR story going out. It was just a lady messaged me and said, look, we need to do a story. And it's gone absolutely mad. It ended up on ITV and more magazines. And I've just found myself this week being invited to actually speak as a speaker, a pro speaker at the Camelot conference in 3 weeks' time. And it's not fame, it's one more message to one more person that might not have got it. I've done all the fame and I've not got none of the fortune though. So if anyone's listening, send it my way. But seriously, I, I'm at the point where I've gone from loss to almost suicide, to being wired up to those machines in the hospital, to this. And I have just told you one other thing, but I can't tell anybody yet, as we well
Yeah.
know. But
No.
I might be on another very big TV show very soon.
Yeah. So so
and
so, so we leave that one there.
and it's just really me. No, don't be silly. But if I can say one word to anyone who struggles, who blimey, you ain't seen me in bed and not being able to get out of bed and not be able to stop crying and howling and screaming and being and feeling like nothing. And the one word is, no matter what you're going through, never compare yourself to anyone else. And the one word is acceptance. Accept what you've been through, accept it, work your way through it, and always come out the other side, because the daffodils will still grow next year. The sun will still shine in the morning. The stars will still come out at night. And every day you choose whether you are happy or sad. And well, I'm depressed because fight it. Flaming well, fight it, because let me tell you, that hole's dark, it's deep, and it's bloody awful. And I never want to be there again, ever. Okay.
That is such an amazing story. I mean, Elaine has been watching. She said hello, Ray and Debbie Anne, and Eric said hello, and Keith said hello, and Eric said that's an amazing journey that you that you that
Thank
you
you.
that you've been through. It is, and I mean, just listening to you and the passion, and it's sort of like, when you were talking about the rainbows and the picture and everything,
Hmm.
I was getting goosebumps. It's like he's here.
Yes,
He's literally, his presence
he's
is
here.
is
He's
is
here. He's
yeah.
in. He's talking to you through me. I feel that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
And Elaine says, Debbie, what a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing this. And again, it gives hope, because as parents, you don't expect your child to go
No,
before
no,
before you. And if your story can even help anyone who's been through that,
no.
um, the acceptance that things can, um,
Mm.
get better. That they will, um, get better for it. So, how does RAS work? What's it? So when you're going to schools, what do you actually kind of like teach or
I
talk about?
I tell the story in a teeny weeny way, and I speak to children as a mum, but they don't know how much knowledge I've really got. So while I'm telling the story about how I lost Chris, I talk about some of the main things that happened, and I make them all part of the story. So because I've done so much personal development, from, like I say, from angels to quantum physics to actually going out with search and rescue teams to watch them bury decomposite parts of pigs so that the dogs can learn how to rescue them, to because that particular day, that's how Chris was found. He was trapped in the waterfall, and he went into a cave. His foot got stuck in a tree. Now, who's going to talk about that? Who's going to talk about that except a mother who knows what happened? Everyone sees a river, or it's clear, there's nothing in it. There's undergrowth, there's weeds that grow. I know families that have lost children because they've got tangled up in the weeds in a pond or a river. So I talk about all that kind of thing, and I get the children to visualise what might be underneath the water, and I help them and prompt them, and they come out with everything about the rubbish, the weeds, and and the teachers are going, it's like, wow. And the kids they're there, they're doing it, they're in it, and they never forget, because I've been so animated with them. And whether they're 8 or whether they're 16, I'm a lot more harsh when they're 15 and 16. I tell it like it is.
Yeah.
But with the younger ones, you've got to gently and be persuasive and nice. And even though they know that my son drowned and he died, at the end of it, they're up there and they bounce and they can't wait to answer all my questions and get it right. And even if they get my name right, I'm giving them a little T-shirt or throwing them an armband or some sweets or goodness knows what. There's stuff everywhere by the time I've finished. You can't do that online, but I get them to make posters now. I've got hundreds of these posters, and some of the kids have made them in such that you see a little coffin on them, and some of them you look at them and it's like, it's where Chris died, and they've got that from me just talking to them and describing and telling them the story. So, and then I'm in the supermarket, weeks later, and I can see this little boy pointing at me going to his mum, that's that woman. That's that woman that was, and I think, here we go again. I'm swearing, I'm nearly swearing. That's that. And she'll come up to me, I believe you spoke to my son. And yes, I did. And she said, well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And I'm there like being pushed in the peas, in the freezer. And this is that woman. I'm thinking, no, just, and then everybody's like, oh, what's it? It's just, it's what it is. And I blooming love it, because if I can stand in an assembly of 1,400 children in one go and not hear a pin drop, and there are 19 teachers around that room, and I'll ask them, what temperature do you think it was that day when my son went into the water? And not one of them can answer, and yet little Johnny in the middle of the room shouts, Miss, I know. Between 3 and 4 degrees, miss. And how do you know that, Johnny? Because I'm in the Scouts, because I'm a rookie lifeguard, because I've done this or I've done, and that's what makes me think, oh my goodness, how much more do we need to do? And I've spoken in Parliament, and I'm speaking with Parliament and government at the minute to try and just make that difference as much as we possibly can, amongst many other parents and families who do similar. And it's a long, long road, but if I can do these little bits, then it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I can get up again tomorrow morning and the day after and the day after that, because somebody has said thank you.
That's so amazing. And even if it just saves one child, or
just one, just change someone's mind, just make a parent think, and cold water shock is the biggest killer. 49 people drowned last year in lockdown in 2 weeks in July. Boom, 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 boom. Every day for 2 weeks there was either 1, 2 or 3 children drowning on the news. It was terrible. And I was in Chester the day before the young boy drowned. One of the young boys drowned. I was there the day before, and they were jumping off the bridge. They were in the water, boats going past, and it was a beautiful day. And to me, it was carnage.
Yeah. Yeah. No. No. No.
Sorry,
No. No. No.
sorry. Ugh.
That's
Mm,
fine. But it's because obviously you're seeing it from a different perspective
mm,
as to and what they're seeing and their parents
mm.
um, are seeing, and of course, when you know all this stuff, you can still do the stuff that your son did, go
Of
exploring
course you can. Yeah, of course you can.
and do it and do it and doing all
Yeah.
that. But
Mm,
but you know that, but you're more aware of the risks
mm.
um,
Yeah.
that are associated with it.
And
So
and you know, we there are so many. I mean, I think the Wim Hof thing is amazing. I do really, genuinely think it is incredible. But from that, unfortunately, there are some brilliant people who go cold water swimming and open water swimming, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And why shouldn't you? It's an element. It's there for you to enjoy. But then there are other people who think or don't think of what the dangers might be. And yet, these people who do it regularly are more than aware. They've got dry robes, they've got the kit, they know
yeah,
to go
try.
in a group and all those kinds of things that you need to know. But it does concern me greatly that there are people going doing it who haven't got a flipping clue, and that really scares me. It
Yeah,
really, really does. Because you don't get in a car, you do not get in a car and drive on day one. You learn, you know. And there's tombstoning where people jump off high rocks into the sea, or there's coasterian where you go with a train mountain, a train mountaineer, and yeah, go and wear the kit and jump in the water. But at least somebody's giving you the
yeah,
information, and you've got the informed choice whether you do it or you don't after you've had that. Now, I say coasterian is better than just jumping in because a young boy of 14 years old came to me one year and said he was in a wheelchair, and he said, "That's what I did." And he said, "I wish I was your son." And to hear him say that, it's like,
mm,
how awful, how absolutely awful. And he told me his story. It took him a few weeks to come back to me, and he came back to me and he told me his story in that he jumped in and his heel hit a rock. Because when you jump from a height into, say, the sea, for instance, you think you'll land forward. You don't, because gravity pulls you back.
okay,
So he hit his heel on a rock underneath the water, which he didn't see, and his spine went from that to that. So within minutes, it was too late, basically. And there could be people out there watching now that that do these things, and look at you. A lot of people come to me and say, "Well, we did it all the time as kids." Yeah, of course you did. Lucky you, but unlucky me, and unlucky the next person this summer that is on the news that has drowned,
mm,
and the one after that, and the one after that, and that, and that. And I'll never stop it. But blimey, surely people can see that they just need to think first, surely.
yeah,
Um, but I can't make you do that. Just go online and do my course, please. And I don't want people to be afraid of open water. I want them to love it because it's an element. It's something we should all. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. That place where Chris died, I don't hate it. I've took his ashes to a place called Angel Bay, which is on the other side of the Little Orme in Llandudno, and it's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's everything.
yeah. And and that's the thing sometimes, you know, where people have passed, it is beautiful. And if we and kind of like if we stay in that sorrow and we don't see it as beautiful, then we're creating a negative energy there that's not really going to
That
support
takes a
the
lot,
person
a
that's
lot for it to go away. I created this room in my home, and it's a really special room, and it's full of candles and crystals and books and everything that I do to try and help other people. I know Christopher's teddies are up there watching me too, so I better be good. Better behave.
Oh, he's definitely been here with the show.
He's on this wall watching me, but I haven't shown you that one.
Yeah, and Sue says, "Thank you for being so incredibly brave and sharing the story. It is absolutely wonderful and brave of you. So
Thank you.
thank you so much for sharing your story. And of course, as you know, I do guided meditations and angel oracle card readings. And each week, I like to ask my guests whether they would like me to do a mini guide meditation or pull an angel oracle card for themselves and those watching. So, Debbie Anne, what would you like me to do?
Well, I've already told you that I want a little reading.
And we have the cards here in my hand.
I've
Amazing.
worked hard. I've worked hard for this. Can I just take a little breather now?
You can. You can sit there whilst I just do a reading
Right.
for you. Now, of course, when I do the reading of cards, I do it for what you need to know for your present in the here and
Sure.
now. Because even though I work with the past and I help people clear and heal their past so
Mm,
that they can be fully present and live their life fully. And when I take people into the future, it's so they know and understand their future. So when they come back to the present,
mm.
into the here and now, they can be fully present. So what does Debbie Anne and everyone who's watching this need to know for their highest
And
good?
thank you everyone for being there and taking the time to see it. I hope it's helped you.
Okay, and a beautiful card has made itself revealed. Uncovering treasure. Beneath the
Mm.
surface lies a great bounty.
Oh my word.
Isn't that amazing?
Mm,
And that so basically, in a way, it's been tying in with everything we've been talking about today, and it ties it up so
yeah.
beautifully. That beneath the surface of everything, there is a great bounty
Mm,
there that you know can enhance your life. That
mm,
hidden treasure. We just have to look for it. And,
mm,
and what the cards are saying, and what the card is saying to you, is that it's really confirmation for you, Debbie, that
mm,
you've uncovered this beautiful treasure. This legacy that beneath the loss has come to the surface, this great bounty that is being of service and helping so many other people understand and maybe take them away from that path where they might do something silly, and actually they take that time. So it's a beautiful card to come
mm,
out confirmation for you, and for everyone watching. It's what the card's saying is, there is treasure in everything, even the darkest, deepest pit. There will always be that little bit of treasure, that little bit of bounty that you can find. So look beneath the surface, look
mm,
beyond what is there on the surface, and see the beauty and the bounty underneath, and you'll be amazed at how wonderful your life will actually start forming when you
mm,
recognize the beauty and that's under there, and all those synchronicities that have happened to
mm,
you, Debbie Ann, just sort of
mm,
like start coming along, and a snowball effect that goes on and on and on and on and on, which
mm.
is absolutely amazing. So, Debbie Ann, do you have any insights or thoughts to leave our viewers? Any last words of wisdom?
I think it's kind of what I've been saying in that acceptance and never give up, and no matter how dark or sad or angry you are. Um, and let me say one thing about anger as well, because that is a terrible waste of energy. Just the easiest thing you can do, and other things have happened to me apart from this, things, sad things. And if I stayed angry, I don't think I'd be here anymore. I really wouldn't, because there's nothing I can do about those things. What I can do is be who I am, and hopefully be the person to speak to others and help others and direct them in a way that isn't authoritative or bullish. It's just by being who I am. And I know people use the word authentic, but I mean it, because A lot of people say they're authentic and they're not. They're not. They're not real. They are not real. An authentic person will really get you and make time for you and care and be honest and truthful. And sometimes we also have to say goodbye to people in our lives, whether it's friends or family, um, to enable us to grow. And finally, it's never too late.
Beautiful.
Never
Beautiful.
too late. You can put your dancing shoes on and be a disco diva. Doesn't matter how old you are. I'm 63 going on 21. Thank you all.
Yep. And Sue says, blessing to you both. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Susie, Elaine, Keith, Eric, and everyone
Oh,
else
wow.
who's been watching today, and all those who are going to be watching the replay on this. And thank you so much, Debbie Anne, for sharing your wisdom and your journey. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Thank
And
you.
and of course, anyone watching, if you have reached that crossroads in your life and you need some guidance and stepping onto your spiritual path and getting clear on your journey and how to get there, then I would love to be that guide for you. So please feel free to connect with me and we can arrange a free video call to discuss where you are now and how you can move forward to take charge of your destiny, get some clarity on what you're doing. And of course, please feel free to join my weekly newsletter where you'll get to receive a free future life progression recording where I take you into future lifetime to get guidance and clarity that you can use in your current life, as well as a couple of other free gifts. And this week, I'm going to be running a 7-week chakra workshop where you can get to know and understand your chakras, and they might not be the colours you expect. So please do check that out. And Eric says, thank you so much, Debbie, and for being brave enough to share your story. It was amazing. Thank you for all the messages. It was absolutely brilliant. And again, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I would love to invite you to share this video, as I'm sure there are more women, men, people who feel lost, want to get clear on their destiny, may have lost people, just like you. And of course, if you are watching this on YouTube, then please feel free to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button to be notified of when the show goes live or I post new guided meditations. And I look forward to you all joining me same time, same place next week. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.